It was a beautiful morning on the island of Sodor. Percy was waiting in the shed for Sir Topham Hatt to come, because Sir Topham Hatt had an important job for Percy. Sir Topham Hatt came and told Percy he had to pull a special goods train. Percy agreed and set off to find his freight train. First, of course, before Percy could pull his special train, Percy had to spin around on the turntable to get going. Percy was set, and he went reversing to collect his train. Percy had collected his freight train, unaware that the special freight train's destination would actually be Tidmouth Station, the station he was departing from. But Percy did not know that this freight train was its destination, and Sir Topham Hatt was just testing how well Percy could deliver freight. To make up for lost time, Percy decided to go runaway speed as he raced down the line, whistling happily. Jumping along, singing a song as I pull my special freight train down the line. Nothing can possibly go wrong on this beautiful journey, sang Percy. Percy was unaware that the line was extended in this Roblox game. He was just expecting to go down the track for a couple of miles, then turn around. He was not expecting the line to be extended. But Percy, of course, would not know this as he passed through Knapford Station, which is Elsbridge Station. Well, Elsbridge Station design, because that's how Knapford Station looked like in the Railway series, and not how it looks like in the TV/CGI series. Percy reached through a tunnel as he continued rolling along the line. Percy was releasing a thick cloud of steam, revealing the little green engine and his long freight train. Percy went by a signal that was still, well, not really up or down, it's just straight. But Percy didn't bother. He was just too desperate to deliver his freight train. By the time Percy's driver and fireman knew that the special training had to be delivered to Tidmouth, it was already too late because Percy was already far away from Tidmouth Station. So the driver knew Percy would have to travel down the line towards the loop line. The signalman, thinking that Percy would come back to deliver his train, was switching the points, but mistakenly swapped the points towards the not properly secured barrier. Percy was meant to hit this barrier right here, but in the crash scene, he would hit this barrier. Alright, back to Percy. Because of Percy's low stop, he had to go faster to make up for lost time. They left Crosby Station, and Percy was now expecting the loop line, but unfortunately, that was not going to come. Because of Percy's loud wait, the line had got covered in dirt, and the fence was damaged. Percy was unaware of this. Percy was wondering if he would be able to switch tracks. But the only way he would be able to switch tracks would be somewhere else down the line. But soon, the hill was coming. Gordon's Hill would come pretty soon, so Percy would need enough steam to puff up the big hill. The signalman saw Percy coming through. Percy saw a track where he could switch the tracks before the hill. So that's what Percy decided to do. But Percy, his driver, and firemen were still not aware that, well, the line was blocked down the line. Anyways, Percy reversed to switch onto a different line. Nobody knew why. Percy just felt like switching onto a different track. Percy applied his brakes so he would stop moving backwards. But because his brakes were still applied, he was moving forwards very slowly. Now Percy would be late. But soon Percy started moving again. Very fast too, to make up for lost time. Because of the 2 stops he made. So Percy, wasting no more time, raced down the line. He passed Wellsworth's signal box. You saw another way where the track went down. He was curious where it went, but he couldn't go down it because, well, he had to make his delivery first. Then he could explore where it was. Percy came to the foot of Gordon's Hill. Percy's freight train was not that long, so he didn't have to worry. But Percy was definitely going a lot slower. Percy was growing tired and tired, puffing up the steep hill. Because of the speed Percy was going, he may need a back engine to push him up. But Percy kept on going up the steep low hill. Well, steep big hill. It's not really a low hill considering the fact this is Gordon's Hill. And because this is based off of the railway series, Maron is at the top of the hill, not at the bottom of the hill. Percy puffed and puffed and puffed, puffed and puffed and puffed and puffed up the steep hill. The coupling between Percy and the first truck groaned. Felt like it was about to snap, and the freight cars would go flying down the hill. But Percy was nearly at the top. Percy could not give up. He kept on going. But because of this, Percy was using a lot of coal and water. But Percy had filled up on coal and water, so this wasn't a problem. But as soon as Percy realized they were almost at the top, he was feeling much better. Percy could see that they were almost at the top of the hill. Percy had made it up Gordon's Hill, and now he would enjoy the rest of the journey, making it onto the loop line and making it back to Tidmouth to deliver his freight train. But unfortunately, Percy would not make it to Tidmouth. Because Percy was now at the top of the hill, he would be able to go a lot faster. And because of that, Percy would be able to make up for lost time. Percy went... Oh. Okay, because I do not feel like respawning the freight train. Let's just say Percy had already delivered his freight train. Okay? Sounds good? Sounds good? Okay. Percy had finished delivering his freight train, but he still wanted to finish his journey down the line that he was doing before that disconnection showed up. So his driver allowed him, and Percy raced down the line. Because of Percy's wish, that blew down the fence. Percy was racing down the line. Very quickly, too. But once Percy saw the danger ahead, oh, hold on. I think I hit the button. Hold on. Why did it just disappear like that? Re-hit the button. Okay, let's retry this. Percy's driver applied the brake. Why does it keep disappearing? Percy had came right off the rails. Wait, hold on. I got a better idea. Just pretend that crash right there didn't happen. Okay? Alright? So that... Percy was continuing his journey after he delivered his freight train. He decided to explore what was down the line. He was racing down the line very, very fast. Percy knew that there might be a way where he could switch onto the line beside him up ahead. And he was right. Percy was right. But Percy didn't know why he would do that when the loop line was ahead, just after Gordon's Hill. So Percy was racing to get onto the loop line. Soon he was approaching Gordon's Hill again. This time, he was not pulling a freight train, so it's much easier to puff up the steep hill. Percy had made it to the top of Gordon's Hill once again. He raced up the hill and made it towards Meron. He whooshed past Meron, accidentally releasing steam as Percy continued down the line. Percy would eventually need to refuel on water, but he didn't mind that right now because, well, he was so good on water. Percy puffed over the viaduct and would soon see the loop line. The loop line was now right in front of Percy. Percy would now be able to turn around. Yeah, this game is still in development, so right now it's just a loop line. But Percy thought what would more come in the future of the island of Sodor. Now Percy was puffing back home to Tidmouth. But Percy would not realize that after puffing up the hill with his heavy freight train, made his brakes broken. So his brakes would not be able to apply while going down the hill. So Percy continued puffing down the line, thinking everything was normal when he was heading back to Tidmouth Station. So, because Sir Coppercat wanted to tell Percy of how well he did after delivering his freight train, and that he would be able to work on on Mrs. Branchline to help Thomas. Percy was excited to see what Sir Topham Hatt was going to say to him, but then there was trouble. As Percy approached Gordon's Hill, he couldn't stop. His driver desperately tried to apply the brakes. Percy was going so fast, he couldn't slow down. Percy raced through Wellsworth. He raced through Wellsworth Junction. He raced under a bridge, crossed over another bridge. Percy had seen the damaged track ahead and knew that something was gonna happen soon. Percy rounded the bend, unaware of the danger ahead. Oh, wait. Must have despawned. Percy had rounded the bend, saw the danger ahead. His driver applied the brakes, but it was too late. Percy had crashed right into a field. Percy was now stuck. Percy was now stuck in a field. "Oh, bother," said Percy. "I'm stuck in a field." And he was. Percy thought it would be a while until he would be free from the field. So, sometime later, Percy was still stuck. After Sir Topham Hatt finally heard the news, he had ordered an engine to go pull Percy out. Duck was the only engine available, and was the closest engine, so the Great Western pannier tank raced off straight into a buffer. The Great Western pannier tank, aka engine number 5741, Duck, was racing to Percy's aid. But when Duck realized he was not on the right track. Duck realized he was not on the wrong track. He was on the wrong track, so he went to go switch onto a different line. Duck was now reversing to couple up to Percy. Duck was being very careful not to derail Percy. Duck had coupled up to the little engine and was now pulling him out. It was a lot harder than Duck thought because they were not on tracks, they were in a field. Until finally Percy was free. Percy was thankful that Duck helped him, and the Great Western engine took the little green engine to his shed near Wellsworth. Percy will be able to get repairs there. Percy's front was badly bent after the impact of the fence. So, yeah. The two engines had made it back to the Wellsworth sheds. The two engines were now resting in the shed before Percy went back into the shed, reversed back, and went to sleep. Duck was also fast asleep. The next day, Duck was off to go pull a passenger train, while Percy was still asleep.